Hi, my name is Noshafika Shamil binti Sharon Nizam. My matrix number is H22A1182. Data that we use is sample random sampling. A sample random sampling is a random selected subset of a population. In this sampling method, each member of the population has n exactly equal chain of begin selected. Second part is type of data. Type of data in this table is quantitative. Quantitative because it's a numerical value that can represent a count or measurement. Next level of measurement in this table is ratio scale. This measurement scale is the most detailed and pricey in statistics. Its position of a true zero point and meaningful value ratio provide. Construct three appropriate tables that can be used to describe the data. Step 1. Decide on the number of classes. A useful way to determine the number of classes k is the 2 to the k root, such that 2 power of k larger than m. So 5 is not enough classes if we let k equals 6. 2 power of 6 equals 64, which is greater than 15. So we recommended number of classes is 6. Step 2. Determine the class interval or width. Class width is the max entry minus mean entry divide number of classes. Next, step 3, to set the individual class limit. The minimum data entry is a convenience lower limit for the first class. To find the lower limits of the remaining 5 classes, add the class width of 16 to the lower limit of each previous class. The upper limit of the first class is 19, which is 1 less than the lower limit of the second class. Step 4. Make a mark for each data entry in the appropriate class. For this step is to calculate the score. You must make a rhetorical straight line, so the final answer is 50. Step 5 is cumulative frequency distribution. To find the relative frequency of a class, the data need to divide the frequency by the sample size n. So this is the formula: relative frequency class frequency divided by sample size. So for the data in different frequency table for class is also 1. Last but not least, cumulative frequency. The cumulative frequency part need to use the formula cumulative frequency of the last class equal to size sample class n. So the final answer is 50.
Hi, my name is Narina Batusha binti Muhammad Faiza. My matric number is H22A1272. A histogram is a graphical method of data distribution used in statistics. A series of a neighboring rectangle, each bar representing a different type of data, make up the histogram. So, to find the lower boundaries, lower limit minus 0.5, and for midpoint, the sum of lower and the upper limits of the class divided by 2, and for the upper boundaries, upper limit plus 0.5. To make the histogram graph, you need to draw a horizontal axis for the midpoint and a vertical axis for the frequency or count. Next, Ogif graph. The cumulative frequency distribution of a collection of data is represented graphically by an Ogif graph, often referred to as a cumulative frequency curve. It is employed to display the data distribution and the total of number observations that fall below the specific threshold. Next, calculate cumulative frequency. The cumulative frequency at a particular point is the sum of the frequency up to the point. On the graph, the x-axis represents the data values and the y-axis represents the cumulative frequency. Plot each cumulative frequency at the corresponding data value.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Shamimah Amira binti Ismail and my metric number is H22A116C. Okay, now I want to present about measure of central tendencies. Measure of central tendencies, a value that represents the center of a distribution, is called a measure of central tendencies for both grouped and ungrouped data. The three most used variables to measure tendencies are mean, median, and mode. The mean is more precisely known as the arithmetic mean, but also commonly referred to as the average. The mean suitable for discrete or continuous quantitative data, but it is not suitable for a qualitative data set which does not contain numerical values. It is the most popular measure of central tendencies because the calculation use all of the data values, and therefore it is truly representative of the whole set. This slide is table of the mean, which is number of class, number of the midpoint, number of the frequency, and number of fx. To get fx, frequency multiply midpoint, and this is the formula of the mean. Okay, let's move the next slide. The median. Median is the value that lies in the middle of the data when the data set ordered, which divides the set into halves. One half contains all of the data that are less than the median, and the other half include all value greater than the median. The formula is lower class boundary of median class plus in bracket n per minus cumulative frequency before median class multiplied by class size. Okay, this slide is table of the median, which is number of class, number of frequency, and number of cumulative frequency, and the sum total is 44.46. Okay, next the mode. Mode of set of data is the value which occurs most frequently. If no data value appears more frequently than any other value in the set, then there will be no mode. A data set with two modes in no is bimodal, while a data set with more than two modes is described as multimodal. The formula is lower class boundary of median class plus in bracket the difference between frequency of modal class and frequency before modal class per the difference between frequency of modal class and frequency before modal class plus the difference between frequency of modal class and frequency after modal class multiplied by class size. Okay, this slide is table of the mode. Then the total mode is 41.90. Okay, next measure of variation. In statistics, measure of variation approaches to characterize the distribution or distribution of data. It displays the division between data points. Measure of variation are used by statisticians to organize their data using data of variation, such high and low variability. You can make a lot or inferences. The collection of random variable can be quantified using the following three parameters: range, variance, and standard deviation. The range, which is the difference between a data set's greatest and lowest value, is a statistical measure of split. Subtract the summarless integrate from the grace to find it. Okay, this is table of the range, which is number of class, number of midpoint, and number of frequency. The formula of ranges is maximum data entry minus minimum data entry, and the total is 19C. Okay, next, variance and standard deviation. Standard deviation is the square root of the variance. Variance is the average of all data points within a group. This is table of variance and standard deviation, which is number of class f, x, x2, fx, and fx2. At the slide have the formula of variance and standard deviation. The total of variance and standard deviation is 29.12. Okay, at the next slide is measure of position. Measure of position determines the position of a single value in relation to other value in a sample or population data set. Okay, next quartile. The data must be sorted from lowest to highest in order to calculate the measurement of position. This is table of quartile. Have number of class, frequency, and cumulative frequency. There are two steps. Step 1 is find the location of n, and step 2 is find the value of Q1 and Q3 using n interquartile range is 54.08. And the last but not least, the shape of the distribution. The shape of distribution is described by its number of peaks and by its position of symmetry, its tendency to skew, or its uniformity. This is table of the shape of distribution, which is mean 51.94, median 44.46, and mode is 41.90.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syahida binti Aziz. My matric number is H22A1162. So here is a part B, which are one set of data that have one independent variable and one dependent variable. In this data, minutes of study is an independent variable, while final score is a dependent variable. Next, we have found statistic data that have 83 student numbers as a sample size, but we choose the sample size n equals to 35 because n must not be greater than 100, but must at least 30. The type of data for minutes of study is continuous quantitative variable, while final score is a discrete quantitative variable. Last but not least, level of measurement for minutes of study is ratio scale, while for final score is interval scale.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurhaiti binti Muhammad Azani. My matric number is H22A1181. So for my part is number 4 and number 5. Total of Y we get 3,256.7. X we get 4,745. XY 44,641.5. Y power of 2 1,02,675. X power of 2 we get 3,03,779.3. R we get 0.04. So the correlation between the minutes of study and final score is 0.04. This is indicate the moderated association between the variable. The developed estimate registration equation. The predicted or estimate value equal estimate for BO minus estimate for B1 minus X. For B1, we get 0.76 from the total of XY and minus between the total X times XY X, and then we get 2 power of X, and X we get 2 power of Z per n. For the BO, we get negative 9.98. The slope for 0.76 for every minute of the study increase. The final score will increase about 9.98%. For the slope negative 9.98, when the final score is 0, the minute of study is 0.76. Because the slope is 0.76, it may be determined that X has a 0.76 distribution to the basic, Y is a 9.98.